Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting Summit of Darkness in Dublin. It's funny, isn't it, how when you walk down one back alley, it inevitably leads to another, and another, and another. Dublin is honeycombed with these back streets, tall buildings, 3, 4 stories looming overhead on each side, but it's quite easy to get lost in the malaise, the rat run, as it were. It is down one such corridor carved so very long ago that you see the sign hanging, a brilliant green dragon shooting jets of flame from its mouth and from its nose. It seems to be advertising a pub, though the only thing you can see is a large, high, corrugated iron fence with a large archway over which the sign is hung. As you walk through that archway, under it, and down a small path, you will eventually come to see this building, this place spread out before you. The tingle of magic is everywhere, and it's quite interesting. It could be raining bullets outside, but here it is a pleasant, balmy day. The sun sparkles overhead even when it's raining outside, and crickets chirp here at night, despite the fact that outside, well, it could be freezingly cold. It's always pleasant. The sun, the moon, everything seems to be almost harmonious. As you enter, it is as if you feel the sense of magic ripple over you. You sense that someone has wrought many careful arts of concealment, many carefully placed spells of protection. You wouldn't want to be the poor, unfortunate fuckwit who decided to attack this place, and neither would I. Interestingly enough, as you pass, any weapons you may have on you, though they may still exist, blades will lose their sharpness and will become as butter knives, and guns will automatically jam. This is not a place for violence. The only violence in here is the violence you bring in with you. At the bar, you will notice many smiling faces who all seem very happy to greet you. Those of you with more esoteric senses will see the fact that these are the spirits of the place, given form and manifest. They are delighted for you to be here because that is their purpose. This is a place of happiness, a place of joy. Thus, they are happy and they are joyful. They are merely fulfilling their purpose and seeing to your comfort and seeing to your needs. So, we shall do our introductions. The good Dr. Energon will go first.
As he wheels up to this fantastic looking bar. Quickly, let's say picnic area. Oh, this is wonderful. Yes, yes. And he will kind of work his way best he can to a place where somebody will allow him to take a seat, as it were.
Your wheelchair will note in its very kind of monotone voice. Interesting. I have lost the control function for the plasma cannon.
Well, isn't that just special? I have to be on double guard duty then.
Kit, you can come in next.
Kit makes her way in with water bottle in hand and sort of tossing it between her two palms as she steps in, waiting for Isaac.
Isaac will...
Actually, no. 1 second before you do. Isaac, before you step in, you feel a hand take your hand in theirs.
All right. Isaac will go ahead and stop for a hot second and turn around towards whomever went ahead and took his hand.
There we go. This person, you will see Magister D'Onofrio is standing slightly off to the side, but this young woman has basically taken your hand, and she puts her other hand on top of yours as she looks you up and down. She appears to be like she appears to be drinking you in a manner of speaking.
Isaac is not used to being drunken in. Isaac is not used to being scrutinized or admired in such way. He just goes ahead and like turns his body a half turn towards her. Sorry, do I know you?
Well, it's funny. You were there. I remember your face. But and she reaches up and she goes to put a hand on your face. I don't know if you attempt to like pull back.
He won't for a hot second.
I'm Hope. It's nice to meet you properly.
Now it's Isaac's turn to go ahead and scrutinize the individual before him. Looks down, looks up. He goes ahead and like stops his gaze, like the last place he saw her height, and then like continues up, assuming like she's like grown a little bit. And he'll go ahead and say, "Oh my, you
This
grew."
might sound impossible and odd. I'll ask your forgiveness if it makes you uncomfortable, but all of you who were there, and so many of you are gone now. I've always thought of you as oddly the nearest thing that I ever had to parents, so you were the only one I never got to talk to.
He goes ahead and shrugs. I would not worry about it. Not a lot of people would go ahead and point to me as parental figure or a model.
Doesn't matter. Ultimately, you were still there, and I still. She appears to be searching for the right words, like desperately trying to find them.
I missed you too.
She hugs you very, 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 very closely, and she kind of like. How tall is Isaac?
Average height.
So about 5 foot, 5 foot 9, 10 ish.
Eat.
Cool. She's shorter than you are. She's only about 5'5", but she hugs you very, very tightly, and there's real, genuine warmth of emotion in that.
Oh. Isaac will go ahead and like reciprocate the hug. Go ahead and pat her head. There, girl. There.
D'Onofrio steps forward, and she holds out her hand, and Hope kind of, I'm not going to say latches on because that's wrong, but she takes the hand and basically puts her arms around it, and she says, "I never thought that you had a heart, Mr. Blanchet. Apparently, I was mistaken."
Seeing a new life get born into the world does thing to you.
On that sentiment, let's go get a drink, shall we?
He goes ahead and nudge. Sure. Goes ahead and looking at Hope. You gotta tell me like everything that went down. I've been sort of forgetting who I was for a while.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. She looks over at Kit with kind of a she has a very pleasant smile, is how I'll phrase it. But she holds out her hand. My name's Hope.
Kit will shake it. Kit.
She half closes her eyes as she's holding your hand. It's very nice to meet you, Kit. There's a very soft smile. You've only just come here. Maybe you can find your home here.
Maybe.
I hope so. I really do. But As we enter, we have a mini. Hi, Kim.
Hello. I got my computer working for the first time in 3 months, so Minnie is here, and she has a present. She's like, I didn't know what to get, and so she has a present that is a PlayStation 4 and Skyrim and Minecraft because she does not know what kids like.
What are your children? What do you do? Hope kind
Okay,
of.
quick.
Okay. Hope will blink at the generosity, but the thing doesn't seem to mean as much to her as the fact that Minnie is here. And she will reach out and she will also hug the Minnie.
Yay, a hug! And she hugs her back. And her hugs are really warm. And she's super short, so most of the time she could just tuck her head under a tall person's chin.
I mean, Hope is not that tall, but you also have the short flaw, don't you?
I don't know.
I thought Minnie did, but it's not a big deal. But, we will sashay into the bar. The bar is beautiful. As I said, you can tell this place was made with magic in mind. D'Onofrio appears to be quite proud of it because this was her handiwork. It took a hot minute. She'll actually say as you collectively walk in, I was doing the bloody wards on this place for at least 3 weeks, so I swear to everything the archangels hold dear if they don't hold, I'm going to go and have a word with an umbrood that's going to involve my foot up its celestial ass.
I mean, the last bar that went down wasn't because of the wards. The beings were magical and entered. She's just kind of sad now.
It's all right, little one. Ultimately, I've put so much wuzz into this place that I'm surprised that it's not going off like Fort Knox. No, it'd be easier to get into Fort Knox than it'd be to get into here. But then again, c'est la vie, c'est la vie. Right. So, what do you all drink? I don't know why Isaac. Isaac, why do I always think whenever I look at you that you're a sex on the beach kind of man?
Because I hadn't scratched his chin because I'm an easy and simple man.
Right. And you, Kit, what do you drink?
I've got my water.
Is that all you want?
All I want.
Okay. Minnie?
Tequila Rose.
Excellent. Well, I'm not going to be the only one who's hammered after this. Wonderful.
Well,
She will.
do you know what Tequila Rose is?
Yes, I do. She will proceed to go to the bar. Hope just kind of sits. She sits in a chair and she's just smiling. She seems to be genuinely quite happy.
Alright, kid, you know why you're here? Besides well, actually, you're drinking water, so no bar for you.
I can check things out and hopefully find you involved.
Oh, yeah, you got yourself. You got a good head on your shoulders. You got a few things right.
Things seem to get weird around here, so
Jesus
You
Christ.
should-
I figure I'm in good company that way. At least I'm not the weirdest entity in the room.
I mean, Hope smiles up at the pair of you and she says, well, I suppose for a given value of normal. After all, I wouldn't want to be normal because then that makes you just the same as everybody else.
Normal is boring. Nobody ever wants to be.
Hope looks at Dr. Energon for the first time because they've just sat down at the same table he's at, for the record. And she reaches out her hands to him and she says, I've seen you before, but I've never seen you.
I've been in a couple of magazines, a couple of publications, a couple of
No,
blackball papers.
no, that's not why.
Huh? Okay.
When I was shown things, I saw what it was like to see human misery at its most poignant. I saw you. I
Ah.
saw. She looks down. She very briefly looks down at your legs, and she looks back up. I saw what happened to you. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Don't be. It inspired me to greater things. Just because they can't move doesn't mean that I can't. That I can't move. They help me inspire me onto the path of robotics, designing, and engineering. Tried to come up with something better, stronger,
So
faster.
you're saying that despite the fact that there was a setback or that you experienced pain, it was not. It was that inspired you to go on to greatness.
That's a good way to put it. Spite's a hell of a drug.
Oh, I see. She nods, kind of like she has no idea what you're talking about, but by God, she's trying to show that she does.
Just because you've fallen down doesn't mean you can't get back up. And if you can't get back up on your own hands, well, there's always a pneumatic actuator. He hits a button and the chair raises and lowers a little bit.
Oh,
She
thank
smiled.
God. That's your chair. I thought it was something else.
She smiles at that, like you're not sure if it was if she understood the joke or if it was just the chair moving amused her, but something amused her.
Okay.
You're. She contemplates her next statement for a few moments. I'm always unsure with people when I meet them. But she lifts her hands up and you can see it's almost she's focusing on Dr. Energon, like very intently focusing. And it's almost like she holds her hands up almost like she's weighing something, like weighing both of her hands against each other, until eventually her left hand falls and her right hand ascends ever so slightly. If anyone here has entropy, she did something, but it doesn't feel like sphere magic, but she definitely did something. And she'll say, "You have a good heart, Dr. Energon. Thank you for having it."
Well, it's a good thing it's in my chest.
I should think so. Ultimately, it would just get messy if it wasn't.
Also, not all detached from the circulatory system could be terrible events.
Or you could just build yourself a different type of pump, I suppose.
You hear that, Cyclonus? Time to get me a new heart.
Oh, God. Somehow the chair is upset with you. But,
Excellent.
by the way, D'Onofrio, before she left, would have asked, "What are you drinking?" Because she's getting rounds to the table.
Energon would ask for a Manhattan.
Ooh, fancy. Very good. She will return a few moments later, and she will set down the drinks on the table. She hands Hope what appears to be orange juice before she herself sits down. She has a bottle of pretty decent cognac in her left hand that she corks and pours a measure of into a glass before she slams it back. Ah, wonderful. Well, I think that this place is somewhat of a success, so I can rest on my laurels, if nothing else.
I have a weird and very specific question about the awarding.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ward it against the Fae?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's in our code or anything like that, you know. Do not, I mean, admittedly, we don't want to anger them, but we also don't want them poking our shit.
That's fair. Also, I need to talk to you, tomorrow or something.
Sure. I cannot say that I won't be hungover to hell tomorrow, but we can definitely talk.
Also, anybody that's paying attention at all will clearly see that Minnie is completely ignoring the doctor in the wheelchair.
Okay. He will still. Energon will still banter with Hope.
Perception, empathy, that if you don't mind. I want to kind of read some body language here.
Yeah, you can perception, empathy, the mini. Feel free to roll the perception and the empathy. It will be standard difficulty.
2 successes.
Since she's not making an overt attempt to hide her feelings, as a matter of fact, she stated it as being an overt thing. Minnie, how are you feeling?
She is pissed. She is so angry she wants to murder him. Well, not actually murder him, but...
In a figurative sense.
Yes.
Okay. She, just kind of like reading that, she sets the bottle down and looks over at Isaac with kind of like a brow raised.
Isaac will go ahead and shrug. He doesn't understand what's going on either.
Is there a history between those two?
Turning towards Kit. You know what? I really don't know.
Yeah, I find us on even ground, even footing for the first time.
Yeah, well, okay. Let me go ahead and divide some things into you. Okay. You know that day I say that we went ahead and killed God?
Uh-huh.
You know how I keep repeating that? Well, may have been a fit. We didn't actually kill God, but we did something else kind of almost as epic. Well, he goes ahead and struggles to begin the sentence and simply goes ahead and says, the only way I can go ahead and summarize it is myself and a few of the old gang went out to very corrupted priest's stronghold. There we found him doing a ritual in service of a demon. And the demon's agenda was apparently to go ahead and bring something from another world. We aborted that particular mission, but with the energies that had already been coalesced and with a vessel already prepared, we had to come up with ideas about what to do with it. And ultimately, we decided, as head and shrugs towards Hope, to let it be its own little thing.
Wait, what? That's gotta be some kind of a violation of some rule.
Most assuredly.
Right.
But Hope is wonderful.
Stop Lincoln hearing me speak.
Hope kind of furrows her brow. For the record, she's talking to Dr. Underdog. There is no way she could hear you, but she turns her head to look at you.
Isaac tries to go ahead and says, we were trying to go ahead and make the best goodness out of a bad situation. And honestly, sometimes you come up with happy accidents.
Basically, I'll fill in 1 or 2 blanks because it's been a very long time for the player. They had, and this is something that Isaac would probably tell you. They had a human soul that the demons were basically trying to alter the true name of to imprint upon it a lost soul of a dead fallen. and they were then going to place it into an angelic body that they had made entirely out of human true faith.
Oh my.
However, in place of this, what they managed to do was they managed to stop the demon before it could corrupt the true name, ripping it apart and reforging it, because that was the name of a character that was played by Heather, her child named Yuki, a child of a character named Yuki. So they basically put the unaltered true human soul of what would have been that child in the body, so that it would have a chance to live, and named it Hope.
Filter that, but through Slacker speech.
There you go.
Okay. Cool. I was actually referring to the guy with the posh accent and Minnie. She looks like she's kind of angry at him.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind then.
What, you think they're in a relationship? So these are things we're not talking about right now.
Maybe not in front of people.
Okay.
Like that one, the god body over there is giving me the bug eyes, and it's kind of starting to freak me out.
I should point out that whenever people reference me, regardless how far they are from me, I can hear them.
That is the thing.
That's terrifying.
That is an invasion of privacy.
You were in fact talking about me, though.
Yes, but it was a private conversation.
I'm sorry. It's just something I've always had. I can't exactly turn it off. Mistress D'Onofrio theorized that because of the nature of my being, it was similar to how she kind of furrows her brow again. High umbral beings are meant to propitiate faith between them through the physical remanifestation of prayer as quintetic energy.
Angels and demons.
That sounds like some. That definitely
makes perfect sense to me.
Neat. That's what she just comes up with.
What
Isaac is just a filter to go ahead and let all the high hermetic talk into something a layman can digest.
What she said basically, when people say her name or pray to her, she gets energy or quintessence.
Mm-hmm. I can also hear them. So, there you go. She just sits back like really awkwardly and just sips her orange juice. Just sip. Sip.
Just gonna turn to Isaac. You fucked up.
Shrugs. Sorry.
If it helps, she has now found a new source of amusement, mostly because Evan has to go to the bathroom and step out for a few minutes. She has found the fact that she can play old 90s version of Snake on Dr. Energon's wheelchair, and it's just keeping her endlessly amused.
Okay.
Looking towards Kit. You want to take the wheelchair? I'll take the girl.
You know, in any other situation, I would say no. But given what happened the last time that I got involved with a light bear / life giver, yes.
What?
Okay. Isaac is going to go ahead and remove himself from Kit for a hot second and sit alongside Minnie. How have you been?
Okay. I got really drunk, got like $200 worth of pupusas, and I have no clue where they went.
Sad. Very, 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 very sad. Maybe not go ahead and drink too much, but you know what? You're only a woman. You can go ahead and do what you want. So, he goes ahead and whispers, leaning in a bit closer. So why are you giving like Mr. Energon over there a kind of a cold look?
You know that really angry laugh that women do?
Oh God, no.
Yes. Just I'm gonna put it in the simplest terms possible. He abandoned me and another man. I don't actually remember getting his name. To die. In Agrabah
Oh.
Nights.
He goes ahead and nods. Oh, I'm. That makes a little bit of sense. Sorry to have brought that up.
Yeah, I want to kick him in his balls repeatedly. So,
Well, do you really feel that strongly? You feel that betrayed?
well, somebody died and I was sapped of my physical strength, because somebody's sword brought them back to life. So, yeah.
He goes ahead and nods. Well, I thank you for telling me. He gets a little bit stiffer. Like, oh.
Weren't we in the... I don't remember you. I was very drunk when we were hanging out last time. I don't know if that qualifies as hanging out.
The last time you and I were anywhere, we were in we were in another realm, slowly forgetting ourselves, and you had broken your foot again.
Yes, that was a thing. I have the worst luck with breaking my foot.
How is your ankle, your foot now?
Oh, Gravedigger fixed it, and she wiggles her foot.
Nice. He pronouns are weird when it comes to Gravedigger. Gravedigger does good work.
A lot of people say he's not great, but he was really nice.
Gravedigger goes ahead and operates on a reality on his own terms.
I mean, that's fair.
So while Isaac is doing that, Kit kind of scooches over a seat or two, looks down at the chair, and then up to Dr. Energon. Nice bit of hardware.
Ah, he's quite proud of Cyclonus. He's a good robot.
Is it comfortable?
Oh, yes. And ergonomic. Great spine support.
So you got the lumbar feature built in.
Yes. If it's something I'm going to be sitting in for, most of my waking life, I should at least make it comfortable.
One would hope. And she'll offer out a hand. Kit Milkovich.
Dr. Energon extends his hand.
Oh, we're using our fake names. I am the yawning other.
No, I legally changed my name in the 90s.
So
That's
your
my real
first
name.
is Doctor.
Oh, we're not doing this bit again, are we? No,
I
the
wasn't aware
title.
that we had done it in the first place. Do you have
I'm
a
not
given
Mr.
name?
Doctor. My first name is Paul.
Oh, okay. See, there we go. So, Paul Energon?
Yes, Dr. Paul Energon.
It's it just you said your name was legally changed.
The
I
last
wasn't
name
sure.
was.
Yeah, obviously, yes. Things are kind of weird around here, so I wasn't really ready to assume anything and just kind of went with it.
I mean, that's probably the wisest decision you could make.
True. Social guffaws notwithstanding.
Yes.
So you're hanging out here with all of these fine people. I would assume that you're a member of the craft.
No, that was a terrible movie. I don't get any acting credits.
No, I mean, oh, you almost got me there.
Ha ha!
But I'm guessing you're in the know.
I'm smarter than your average bear, yes.
Yes. Who do you most identify with? Are you part of D'Onofrio's School of Witches and Wizardry, or?
No. I don't, I work with books, but not those kind of books. I work with tools, but not those kind of tools.
Okay.
I can be obtuse too, you know.
Clearly. What tradition are you with then? If we're just gonna go.
Ah, a direct question. Excellent. I
Yes.
am an etherite.
Oh. Oh gosh. The notes were a little bit vague when it came to you guys, but steampunk wizards.
No. Some of us, yes. Me, no.
You have more of a modern thing going on looking at your chair.
The world is not quite ready for the things that I can do.
Can you make an iPhone that will let you browse the internet and make a phone call at the same time?
I'm a magician, not a miracle worker.
I see.
No, I don't handle. I work in robotics, engineering, and various other grades of physical technology.
Could you make a tabletop robot that brings the butter?
Yes, I already have one.
Oh my god.
Because you know how hard it is to get out of a comfortable spot at the table. You realize you've forgotten something in the fridge, but I can just, hit a button and little butterbot will walk out. Or jam.
Yes, and I imagine that would be doubly important for you.
Exactly. Better living through robotics.
I feel like that's the tagline of some evil corporation in a sci-fi movie, but
I mean, yes.
it oddly works in the real world.
I mean, we have to make sure that everybody is able to access all aspects of their life.
Well said. Well said. So, Minnie over there, huh?
We met briefly.
Any reason why you could think that she may not be happy with you?
We were playing a drinking game at the, I believe it was Never Have I Ever, at this place called Agrabah Nights. And then we came under extreme sniper fire from the, oh, what are they called? The Templars. Captain Douchebag McGee with the one eye and the sword.
Never met Captain Douchebag McGee with one eye and a sword.
Man, I hope you never do.
Doesn't sound
Because
like
he's a
pleasant
murderous
fellow.
psychopath.
Ah,
And there were a number of his order there. So I did what any sane cripple would do. I ran. Well, wheeled.
and I'm guessing they weren't able to make an equally expeditious retreat.
They were being shot at. They can... It is very easy for them to move. And then he just kind of leans left, leans right. This is my range of motion.
You've got forward and down.
Yes. So I ran. I got away from there.
Given the circumstances, understandable. Maybe not the most chivalrous, but certainly understandable.
Do I look like I'm built for medieval combat?
What are you hiding in that chair?
Two plasma throwers, an arc welder, 2 sentient robots.
Okay, so it sounds like not only are you built for medieval combat, you are built to win it at a with a major cheat code.
Right. Do I look like I can hold a lance?
No, but I get the feeling that if you wanted to have one, you could mount it on your chair.
And what good does a lance do me against a sniper rifle?
Have you ever played a game called Monster Hunter?
No.
They have lances with guns in them. Just saying.
Right, that's nice. I still can't get out of the way like everybody else. My range of movement is he leans left, he leans right. I do not qualify myself as a brave man. Qualify myself as a smart man. And when coming under sniper fire and aggressive other artillery, I get behind cover and I run. Wheel, whatever. You know what I mean.
Fair enough, but I may have a solution for your range of motion thing. And she's going to take out her phone and get a video up of one of those mechanics chairs that like goes from a sitting position and then lowers you down into like, you know, the lie back trolley thing that they get underneath the cars with.
Right. Now, that's great because it's a framework. I have a battery, 2 plasma cannons, an arc welder, sentient robot. That's not going to work well. And it doesn't change the fact that I'm still in the exact same spot, just with a slightly thinner profile.
Close to the ground, like, you know, foot and a half.
There's an engine with turbines. A whole transmission system here.
Have you heard of the historical document known as Transformers?
What? why do you think I changed my last name to Energon? Just, it's a deadpan look.
So what you're telling me is I show you this very basic framework, and you're telling me that with all of your knowledge and expertise, you couldn't adapt your chair to be able to accommodate not only you in that position, but also you're telling me you couldn't get it to, rearrange slightly?
Conservation of mass is still a thing.
It is, but
I don't make with the space woodgety woodgety. Wiggles hands.
I didn't say space woodgety woodgety. I just said, make things maybe a bit more modular so that way they can fold, fold, bend, tuck. I don't know. I mean,
By the
hell, I
way,
had a.
just to note, as you say widgety widgety and you do the hand movement, Hope will mirror the hand movements and then go back to playing Snake. Continue.
Like I said, not trying to encroach on your mojo, but I had a poolside bar when I was growing up that had a TV that could come out of it. It was pretty ingenuitive. I'm sure you could figure something out for your chair.
I have. That's why there's a plasma cannon, and a motor, and a battery, and a sentient robot, and another sentient robot. Potentially two more.
And the ability to play Snake.
Yes, also that.
So, well, okay, so then maybe if you're not going to do with the whole, duck and cover thing, maybe you could, add in like a ballistic shield option.
I have one.
How loud does he go ahead and say this?
Audibly.
Was this
Isaac has
before or
emotion
after the
that
gunfight?
washes over his face for a hot second and then disappears just as quickly. But those very observant will see confusion and annoyance.
So, was this feature installed before or after the gunfight?
After.
Okay, then we're good. She'll pat him on the shoulder and make her way back over to Isaac.
Isaac, for his part, is making his way back to the original meeting point.
She'll sit down next to him. I learned some shit. What about you?
I learned some shit. Okay. Apparently, our girl Minnie still very, very upset with the doctor over there for running. Those feelings are combined with the fact that one of her closest friends died defending her. And she feels very much betrayed and very bitter about that.
Does she understand that his range of motion, and she's going to copy the exact range of motion that Dr. Energon demonstrated to her?
Isaac goes ahead and shrugs. I'm not sure she knows. I'm not sure she even cares about that. I think she's latching on very firmly to the fact that one of her friends is gone, and I believe she thinks that shrug, it could have turned out differently.
We could probably intercede and help this situation.
I mean, do you want to?
No. And she'll sit back, recline, put her feet up on one of the other chairs with her water bottle in hand. I just was curious.
A wise man knows when he sees something very small that could potentially bite him and refuses to go ahead and grab the thing that bites. He drinks it from his own domestic long neck.
By the way, Vinny, what is actually in your water bottle?
Water?
It's actually water.
Yeah.
Okay.
She decided not to drink this evening.
Hope looks up at Energon from where she's kneeling next to his chair, and she says, "If it helps, you weren't a bad person for doing what you did."
Yes. I know I'm not. Because me being there would have just been potentially just another bloody mess and wasted potential.
Bravery is not the absence of fear, but it is understanding that fear does not rule you.
Oh, no. I was terrified because I was being shot at. Because I'm stuck in a wheelchair. And I make for a very simple target.
She hikes up from where she's kneeling, so she's standing, kind of leaning over him, and she's going to hug Dr. Energon.
He will hug back.
She will say as she's hugging him, as she's holding him, ultimately, you are what you are. As you pointed out, we are not the sum of our broken parts.
Indeed.
And she leans back and she smiles. For the record, when she hugs you, you feel a genuine sense of warmth inside you, like a not necessarily a serene calm, but a sense of literally hope.
Aha.
Before she walks over to D'Onofrio, and the two of them, they start having a conversation in a language that I don't know if anyone else here speaks.
I don't think anybody here knows Enochian, but Minnie might.
I was going to say Minnie is the only one who I might know it.
Let me see. I do know Enochian as well as Greek, Latin, Arabic, and French.
See, I thought you did.
I am fluent in Google Translate.
You can't Google Translate Enochian.
Angel Speak doesn't do Google Translate.
But it's really odd. It sounds, particularly when D'Onofrio speaks it, it almost sounds like she's making noises that sound like the earth is groaning, like something that's so old it doesn't even have words. But when Hope speaks it, it's very light and very airy, almost like it's more natural to her than speaking English. But the two of them, basically, for Minnie, do you choose to listen in on their conversation?
I need to see if I have the curious flaw. I do not.
Then it's up to you.
She will respect their privacy.
Shit.
Okay.
Because she is a good person.
I did love the shit.
I wanted to hear.
Buy it, then get somebody to teach you Enochian.
But that costs XP.
It's worth it.
It kind of is. It's amazing. Fucking love
I want to learn it so I can program the Google codec for it.
What? So you can get, like, literally, they're having a serious conversation. The fate of the world is at stake. You must rise up against them. And you'll get the fate of my underpants is hanging off my left leg.
Exactly. Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Oddly enough, that is the true name of an actual angel somewhere, I'm sure.
What, the angel who was responsible for the creation of underpants? Yes.
Yes.
But no, the two of them appear to be quite content having a conversation between themselves.
Isaac, for his part, is to go ahead and politely excuse himself from the table, approach D'Onofrio and simply say, do you want to go for a walk for a hot second?
And she looks up at Hope, and she nods her head once, and she says, sure. She knocks back the last of her drink. Just like, ugh. Right, let's go. There's a garden over here that I put in. Do you want to go take a walk in the garden?
He goes ahead and nods and puts his hands into his pockets. Sort of meanders in that direction that she pointed.
she'll walk with him.
So I wanted to go ahead and ask you about, well, her. Because then, like, cocks his head back. I know you can hear me. He's gonna go ahead and continue to say, so what's the latest download on what's been going on with her? I didn't realize that anything was wrong, to be quite honest.
Right. Denofre kind of throws herself down on the set of steps that leads down to the garden as she draws a cigarette out of her box with her teeth, and she offers Isaac the box if he wants to smoke.
I'll go ahead and take a single cigarette and sit beside her.
So, I'm gonna have to go into some deep shit. Okay. She flicks open a lighter, and you'll see quite coolly, the lighter doesn't actually touch either of your cigarettes, but the flame zips to the tip of the cigarette and lights it.
It's almost as if she has levels and forces. It's almost as if she's like a medic.
Hashtag House Slam
I'll let that.
will blow your shit up.
Yes!
She'll say, okay, so before I get into this, I need to ask, I don't know if you have, he's been whitewashed in a weird way from a lot of the consensus because fuck, we don't want to deal with him. You ever heard of a guy who goes by the name of Vormus?
He goes ahead and shakes his head.
Okay. Vormus, I'm not an expert on him, honestly. You'd have to ask a Chakravanti to get the real lowdown. But basically, he's one of their Archmages, Archmage of Entropy, who went rogue years ago. How rogue? Well, you know the concept of the wheel, life flows to death, flows to life?
I am familiar with the Chakravanti wheel.
He wants to break it.
He goes ahead and inhales a bit from his cigarette, takes out impromptu. Actually, he'll take his domestic long neck and go ahead and tap the ashes inside it.
Yeah, he's a pretty fucked up dude. We don't think he's in the Fondi. We just think that he fell that far to his own jour that he wants to end everything, or not necessarily end everything, but end life and death as we know it.
Okay, so he's quite a powerful master of dismantling things.
Yeah, and what happened was, from what I've been told, once again, I wasn't there. There were two things that happened. One, okay, so every year, Siren holds a Halloween party. And the reason he does is so that the spirits of the recently dead can walk among the living, so that they can speak words as to how they can pass on from this world. So basically how they can find a sense of codified happiness, or how they can find a way to move on. During that little party, you knew Yuki, yeah? I think.
Yuki. He goes ahead and rubs his temples for a hot second. He goes ahead and shakes it. No.
Yuki was a Euthanatos, and she was also, well, in theory, Hope's mom. As in, she was the one who conceived the child to whom Hope's true name was given. Or rather, Hope
Isaac goes ahead and points. Isaac will go ahead and point mostly in front of him and simply say, she was there. She was there right before she was born, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I think I know this woman.
Essentially, her spirit came to the party, and Hope lost it, for lack of a better word. You understand that there are doors between the realms, and those doors are kept shut for a reason, right?
He goes ahead and nods that you can think about it as doors that are closed. Yes, I've heard this analogy.
It's how we're taught it anyway. In a moment, bear in mind, we have no idea what her power is, what her powers are. There has never been a Hope before, so, or at least as far as we can tell. So it's entirely unknown. In a moment of rage and grief, she kicked open all those doors at once.
Hope did.
Everything, everything bled through. She was trying to bring her mother back. And for lack of a better term, it was succeeding. But because all of those doors were open, who knows what could have slithered between the realms. So we had to talk her down, and we convinced her that this was not the right path. Now, this goes on. There was a prophecy given a number of centuries ago called the Trifactes Scrolls, or the Trifactes Text. I doubt you've ever heard of them. They were kept quite hidden and under wraps. The only current known copy of them was in the possession of Siren in his library. In the forbidden section of the library, to be exact. Apparently, there's something in the scrolls as it pertains to hope. So, an avatar of, or himself, the entity that is Vormus, essentially, whilst Hope was with a number of other mages, I'm not going to use the word attacked because that's the wrong verb. He set loose in Hope's mind essentially a condensed version of what is human misery, from the Holocaust to the mass executions of Pol Pot to the Long March. He essentially created the living incarnation of human misery and inflicted it upon her. My thought is in the hope that she would lose herself and believe humanity no longer deserved its existence. However, someone nearly shattered their avatar in order to prevent it from doing any more damage. And in the process, nearly killed themselves. That was Miss Darcy Ellsworth who did this. Nearly killed the girl in the process.
Goes ahead and judges his hands for a hot second. It does reckless, but self-sacrificing. Did it produce a result?
Yes, it stopped the damage continuing, but Hope was still in a catatonic, or Hope was still in a state whereby she was racked by essentially a walking nightmare. And so we brought her to Lord Sisho in the hope that he's the only resident master of mind magic. But all he could do was essentially keep her sedated because the damage was too terrible. And then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, she woke up.
Do you have any idea why?
None. I've never seen Lord Sisho surprised before. He didn't know how to explain it. He said her eyes just flicked open and she was fine.
I'm betting she remembers some of it.
She remembers all of it. That's why, but she's kind of been able to master it. If you notice, she spoke to Dr. Energon about what was a traumatic experience in his past because she saw it. So she's able to compartmentalize it in a way. So it's an ordered mass as opposed to being a jumbled up heap.
Besides that, she actually okay?
Insofar as she is happy, and that's a statement. She's so good at finding the inner light in people, regardless how deeply it is hidden. all she wants to do is help, and that can she doesn't understand why the world is the way it is, I think, but hopefully she'll learn, maybe.
Goes ahead and nods his head. I'm glad. That's good. And he gets very, very quiet. Glad.
She drags another cigarette out of the box with her teeth, and she offers you another cigarette if you want one.
He goes ahead and waves it off. Goes ahead and stuffs the rest of his cigarette into his bottle. Lets the small amount of alcohol go ahead and put out the cigarette entirely.
I mean, as I said, she's happy, so that's basically all. We had Father or Archbishop de Calvournay, who's now the seat of Prime, investigate her thoroughly. Physically, she's a high umbral being. Her soul is, however, as we said, a human soul. So there's never been a cross section like this. We don't have answers. We only have theories.
Well, thank you for just telling me. Now I know.
I mean, she's made the Chantry into her home, so she's happy there. And that's basically what I've been trying to do.
I'll go ahead and nod and stand and back up for a second, stretch his legs. Okay, I'm gonna go back.
I will say, Isaac, she does have a very
Mhm.
special place in her heart for the people who were there when she was born, because she understands that your actions were the ones that brought her into the world. So she does view you all with a great deal of love and affection.
Nope, I gather that much. And from what I understand, most of those people have moved on.
Yeah, there are only two of you left.
Which one's the other one?
Actually, hang on, Evan's running through that scene in his head. Who was there? I'm trying to remember. It's been a really long time.
Lots of hermetics. Lots of hermetics, I think. At least the one hermetic.
Yeah, because it was Gallo who gave her name. I'll look it over. I'll find the scene and I'll refresh my memory. I think there's still one other that remains.
For now, we'll just go ahead and leave that question in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I still go ahead and crack his back for a hot second. Turn around. Coming?
Yeah, sure. She lights the cigarette before she'll walk back under the awning canopy of the bar proper.
Isaac, for his part, is going to go ahead and sit a little bit closer to Hope. Go ahead and look at her play snake. You need to get the fruit. The fruit. You need to get the fruit and the fruit. That's a rock. That's a rock. You ate the rock. Okay.
I mean, maybe he needed roughage.
You know what? I never really was really good at this game. I always smashed the snake's head into one of the corners.
But she looks up at Dr. Energon and she says, "May I ask you something, Doctor?"
Of course. Ask away.
Do you think I could see or watch you as you work?
I suppose.
Thank you.
You have a couple of projects that I could work on that don't require isolation.
I like watching how other people do things.
Yes, I've got a couple of projects now that I think we're at a point where you can watch.
She smiles. It's a very bright smile.
Excellent.
And apparently, D'Onofrio has said, if I ever want soda or gum, I am to go to the. Wow, that was loud. I am to go to the Smart Mart located on St. Killian's Boulevard. She nods.
Oh. Goes ahead and shakes his head. You know that employee discount only goes so far.
She kind of blinks her eyes and she reaches into a pocket and she takes out a wallet and she opens it up. She takes out a credit card and she just hands it to Isaac and she said, "Maybe you can explain to me what this is or what it means."
He goes ahead and holds it for a hot second, looks at it. It's
Isaac,
fucking.
have you ever seen one of those black credit cards that don't have limits?
Yes, and they're always used by sketchy people and or magical people, and always before they go running into the sunset with either guns or fireballs.
Excellent.
That's a good way to put it. I've actually handled one of those credit cards.
Did it
He
make
goes
you
ahead
think?
and gasps.
Did when you were holding an IRL, Austin, did you feel unlimited power?
Unlimited power. So
I
many
mean,
comic books.
It was just one of those
so
ones.
many. You have no idea. The Marvel Universe at his fingertips, spread upon page upon kick upon thrust upon no panels.
But
Go
what
ahead
was
and
it?
slip it back to her.
That was given to me in a mess or in an envelope when I was born. I don't really know what it is.
You come to my store, you go ahead and use that. You get as much candy as you want.
Joffrey kind of looks confused. She looks over and says, "We've never discovered who actually gave her that, you know."
Isaac has no answers for you. He's very, very content.
But I think that if everyone's actually happy, because I need to apparently go and be an adult, we can end the scene there. If everyone's cool.
That works for me.
Cool. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.